You've tuned into the deep dive, and today we're laser focused on something you've shared with us, the SAS Via A00-451 exam.
That's right. You've provided a really helpful set of practice questions and detailed explanations. Our goal here is to pull out the most crucial insights about this exam and, well, more broadly, to give you a solid grasp of the SAS Viya environment itself.
Yeah,
Think of this as your accelerated path to understanding what really matters.
exactly. We're looking at the core knowledge you need, not just to potentially pass the exam, but to truly understand, the engine room of SAS Via. Because when you get down to it, Via is a seriously powerful platform, and knowing how its key components work together is, well, incredibly valuable. So let's dive right into the first question, shall we?
Absolutely. The first question gets to the heart of how work actually gets done in SAS Viya. It asks, which component is responsible for managing and running jobs in a SAS Viya environment? Okay. The options are SAS Object Spawner, SAS Compute Server, SAS Launcher Server, and SAS Cloud Analytic Services. What's the key here?
Okay, so of those options, which one is the traffic controller for jobs?
The correct answer is C, the S Launcher Server.
The S launcher server. So it doesn't actually run the jobs itself, but it's the one in charge of getting them going.
Precisely. The explanation details that the S Launcher Server manages job execution by dynamically launching SAS compute servers as they're needed.
Ah,
What's fascinating about this is the efficiency it brings. Instead of having resources, constantly running, the launcher server spins them up on demand,
right.
distributing workloads effectively and ensuring that when you submit a program or job, the necessary computing power is ready and waiting. This dynamic allocation is key for handling fluctuating analytical demands.
So it's not just about starting the job, it's about doing it in a smart way, using resources only when they're actually required. That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense in terms of scalability and keeping costs down, right?
Exactly, yeah. This on-demand approach allows Vaya to scale efficiently and avoid unnecessary resource consumption, ultimately leading to, well, better performance and cost effectiveness.
All right, let's look at our second question. This one is about keeping tabs on the system. In SAS Environment Manager, which action can be performed on a SAS server? The choices are change authentication method, monitor memory usage and active sessions, modify user passwords for external authentication, and delete default SAS libraries. What kind of oversight does the Environment Manager give us here?
The correct action you can perform is B, monitor memory usage and active sessions.
So it's more about observation and health checks rather than making fundamental changes to how things are set up.
That's right. The SAS Environment Manager is your central console for system monitoring. When it comes to CAS servers, which are, crucial for that high speed,
Yeah.
in-memory analytics Via is known for.
Right.
The Environment Manager allows administrators to track their health in real time. Metrics like memory usage and the number of active sessions provide vital signs that help in understanding and optimizing the system's performance.
So if a CAS server starts acting sluggish, this is where you'd go to see if it's running out of memory or if there are maybe too many sessions bogging it down.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a doctor checking a patient's vitals.
Exactly. It's about having that real-time visibility to ensure everything is running optimally and to proactively identify potential issues.
Okay, our third question introduces us to CAS libraries, or CAS-libs. Which statement about CAS libraries, CAS-libs, in SAS Via is true? The options are, they store only metadata, they must be assigned manually each session, they allow users to manage in-memory tables, and they can only be accessed by administrators. What's the real deal with CAS-libs?
The true statement is CA CAS libs allow users to manage in-memory tables for CS processing.
Manage in-memory tables, so they're not just pointers to data, they're actually where you work with it in that super fast CAS environment.
Precisely. Think of CAS libs as the bridge between the CAS engine, the in-memory processing powerhouse, and your underlying data sources. They provide a way for users to load data into the CAS environment where it resides as in-memory tables. This is what enables those incredibly fast analytical operations. Users can then manage these in-memory tables, perform transformations, aggregations, and so on, all within the speed of memory.
So it's the CAS-libs that unlock the true potential of Via's in-memory capabilities for everyday users, not just something happening behind the scenes that they have no control over.
Exactly. They provide that user-friendly interface to the power of in-memory computing.
Question 4 takes us to the core infrastructure. What is the role of the SAS configuration server in a SAS Via deployment? The choices are stores configuration settings, authenticates users, processes SAS programs in batch mode, and provides a UI for managing jobs. What's the configuration server's main responsibility?
Okay, the primary role of the SAS configuration server is A. It stores and manages configuration settings for SAS Viya services.
So it's the central repository for all the rules and settings that govern how Viya operates, like the brain.
That's a great way to put it. It acts as the single source of truth for the entire Viya environment's configuration.
Okay.
This includes everything from how different services communicate with each other to user access rules and various system parameters. By having this centralized management, it ensures consistency and stability across all the diverse components of SAS Viya.
So when any part of Viya needs to know how it should behave or who has permission to do what, it consults this central brain, the configuration server.
Yeah,
It's what keeps everything in sync.
exactly. This centralized approach is crucial for maintaining a consistent and well-governed Viya deployment.
Our fifth question delves into securing data within SAS. How can an administrator restrict user access to SAS tables in SAS Viya? The options are modifying SAS ACLs, assigning OS groups, encrypting tables and sharing passwords, and removing users from Environment Manager. How do we control who sees what in SAS?
The correct method is A, by modifying access rules in the SAS Access Control List, or ACL.
SAS ACLs. So these are specific permissions set directly on the data tables within SAS itself.
Yes. SAS ACLs provide a very fine-grained mechanism for controlling access to specific SAS tables. Administrators can define precisely what actions individual users or groups are allowed to perform, whether it's just reading data, writing to it, or even modifying its structure.
Wow. Okay.
This level of granularity is vital for implementing the principle of least privilege, a cornerstone of security best practices.
Right. Least privilege.
Ensuring users only have the access they absolutely need.
That makes sense. It's much more targeted than just relying on operating system level permissions, allowing for very specific data governance right there within the high-performance CIS environment.
Absolutely. It enables organizations to enforce really stringent data security policies.
Question 6 introduces a tool for monitoring performance. What is a key advantage of using the SAS server monitor in SAS Viya? The options are write and execute SAS code directly, real-time monitoring of performance in memory, replaces role-based access control, and required to configure new authentication domains. Why would an admin use this monitor?
The key advantage is B. It provides real-time monitoring of SAS session performance and memory usage.
So it's like a live dashboard specifically for the SAS server's health and activity. A bit like Task Manager, but for SAS.
Exactly. The SAS Server Monitor offers administrators a real-time window into the inner workings of the SAS server. This includes crucial metrics like the performance of active user sessions, the amount of memory being consumed, and overall CPU utilization.
Gotcha.
This immediate feedback is invaluable for identifying performance bottlenecks, optimizing resource allocation, and ensuring a smooth and responsive analytical environment.
So if users start complaining about slow performance, this tool can help pinpoint if it's a memory crunch, maybe a runaway session, or something else impacting the speed of those in-memory computations.
Yeah,
It's all about proactive performance management.
precisely. It empowers administrators to take timely action to maintain optimal performance.
Okay, question 7 shifts to the communication layer. In SAS Viya, what is the function of the SAS message broker service? The options: manages communication, executes SAS programs, authenticates users, and stores data. What role does this message broker play?
The function of the SAS Message Broker service is A. It manages communication between different SAS Viya services.
So it's the internal postal service, making sure all the different parts of Viya can talk to each other?
You could think of it that way. In a distributed system like SAS Viya, you have numerous independent services that need to collaborate and exchange information seamlessly.
Right.
The message broker acts as the intermediary, ensuring reliable and efficient communication between components like the compute servers, the SAS engine, and the various management services.
So when a request needs to go from one service to another, the message broker is the one that routes it and makes sure it gets there. It sounds essential for the smooth orchestration of tasks within Viya.
Exactly. It underpins the overall stability and coherence of the platform.
Our 8th question is about user authentication. Which authentication method allows users to log in to SAS Viya using their enterprise credentials? Choices: default auth, LDAP authentication, manual entry in Environment Manager, and local authentication via Object Spawner. How do organizations typically integrate their existing user accounts with Viya?
The authentication method that enables this integration is B. LDAP authentication.
LDAP, that's a standard for connecting to directory services, right? Like Active Directory. How does that simplify things for users and administrators?
Yes, LDAP, or Lightweight Directory Access Protocol, is a widely used protocol for accessing and managing directory information services, like Microsoft's Active Directory or other similar systems that many organizations rely on.
Okay.
By configuring SAS Viya to use LDAP authentication, users can log in using the same usernames and passwords they already use for their corporate network and other applications.
Single sign-on. Nice.
Exactly. It provides a more convenient single sign-on experience for users, and it also simplifies user management for administrators by leveraging the existing enterprise directory infrastructure. This aligns with the principle of centralized identity management, which is pretty key in modern enterprise security.
So it avoids the need for yet another set of login credentials, making life easier for everyone and potentially enhancing security by centralizing control over user accounts.
Precisely. It's a more efficient and secure approach to managing user access.
Question 9 focuses on data integrity during maintenance. When performing a backup of SAS Viya, what is an important step to ensure data consistency? Options: restart all services, ensure CAS sessions are closed and data saved, disable logging, and backup only metadata. What's the critical thing to do before backing up?
The important step is B, ensure CAS sessions are closed and data is saved to disk.
Why is it so crucial to close those CAS sessions before initiating a backup? What could, go wrong if you don't?
Well, because of how CAS operates with in-memory data, if you perform a backup while sessions are active, you run the risk of not capturing the very latest state of your data.
Okay.
Any data that resides in memory but hasn't yet been flushed to permanent storage would simply be missed in the backup.
Makes sense.
By ensuring all CAS sessions are properly closed and all in-memory data is saved to disk, you guarantee that your backup provides a consistent and complete snapshot of your VIA environment. This prevents potential data loss and ensures a reliable recovery point. It's kind of like making sure you save all your work on your computer before you shut it down.
That makes perfect sense. You want to back up the full picture, not just a partial view of what's in memory at that exact moment. It's all about ensuring the integrity of your data.
Exactly. It's a fundamental practice for ensuring a successful recovery if needed.
And finally, question 10 looks at how SAS programs are executed. What is the purpose of a compute context in SAS Viya? The options are: defines execution environments, manages authentication, stores backup configurations, and schedules job executions. What exactly does a compute context define?
The purpose of a compute context is A. It defines execution environments for SAS programs.
Execution environments. So it's about setting up the specific conditions under which your SAS code will actually run.
Precisely. The compute context in SAS Viya essentially establishes the environment in which your SAS programs will be executed. This includes defining critical aspects like how computational resources, think processing power and memory, are allocated to the program.
Right.
The authentication methods that will be used during execution, and the specific SAS libraries that will be available. This allows you to tailor the execution environment to the specific requirements of different types of analytical workloads, ensuring optimal performance and resource utilization.
So for a memory-intensive task, you could define a compute context with a larger memory allocation. Or maybe for a task requiring specific data libraries, you can ensure those are included in the context. It's about having the flexibility to optimize the environment for each job.
Exactly. It allows for efficient and tailored execution of your SAS programs based on their specific needs.
Thanks for joining us for this insightful deep dive and for sharing your valuable source material.
Absolutely. Looking forward to the next one.